Well, first I want to thank President Ricardoni for those very generous and kind words of introduction. Being here today is very special for me. It's an absolute honor and privilege to be here celebrating the graduation of what I would call future policymakers and professionals. I was absolutely thrilled when I was invited to attend this important occasion for every one of you. I just remember my own graduation, which happened to be June 22nd, 1995. I was sitting in the audience with my loving parents and brothers, and I will never forget the vice provost at the time looking at all of us and saying, the certificate you have in hand is more important than your marriage certificate. It will not be revoked and it cannot be nullified. So to that, congratulations to all of you. I have to say that I loved my time at AUC. There's so much that this university has given me. There's so much that has really shaped who I am today. From an academic perspective, and let me start with that, I was inspired by Professor Galal Amin, who taught me the principles of economic development and how governments are entrusted with the responsibility to ensure that the interests of all stakeholders in the economy are safeguarded. I was also influenced very much by Professor Adel Bishay, whose lectures on international trade shaped my passion for exploring the concepts of comparative advantage, the role of international institutions in influencing the economy, and the importance of people's welfare in developing and emerging markets. I can never forget the great Professor Hiba Handousa, during which I interned at the Economic Research Forum. She was the founder of the Economic Research Forum, a great academic from AUC, in summer 1994. She continues to be my great mentor and role model. During my years at AUC, in addition to spending time at the library and in the classroom, I invested time, energy in extracurricular activities, and that's what AUC is all about. I attended the Arab Model League, I attended the Model United Nations, Isaac, Arab Cultural Club. I was even the econ representative at the Student Union. And I have an anecdote to mention here. When I was running for elections for the Student Union, everyone bet that I was going to lose the elections because I was spending most of my time in the library. So they said, how are you going? You're not cool enough to win these SU elections. And I said, don't worry. The first 2 rows in any class study with me in the library, and the last 2 rows always photocopy my notes. And indeed, I did win the elections. I have so many fond and warm memories of this great university. They are in my memory forever. They were such informative and formative experiences in my life. I also remember Thursday movies in Ewart Hall, the welcome parties, the Halloween parties, occasional lectures, and of course the Great Caravan, where we were able to write lectures that represented what we were thinking at the time. Here I am today, an AUC alumnus. I'm also Egypt's Minister of Tourism. It's an important role for this great nation, one that represents both challenges and opportunities of equal measures, and one in which I'm fully utilizing the knowledge of economics that I have developed firsthand here in AUC. The slogan for tourism promotion is Egypt, where it all begins. For me personally, I can say AUC, where it all begins for me. From starting my studies here at AUC in 1991 to my current post, there have been so many steps for me in the field of economics. After graduating from AUC in June 1995, I was indeed on a flight to Washington, D.C., July 4th, the US Independence Day, to start my master's and PhD at the University of Maryland, College Park. 6 years later, I joined the International Monetary Fund, an institution which gave me so much. I was the youngest economist to join the IMF. Then, in 2005, I was called by the Central Bank of Egypt to come back and serve, to be able to modernize and introduce the frameworks of monetary policy. And I stayed there for 11 years. I was sub-governor, and these were very transformational years for the country. I also taught at AUC, as was mentioned. I was an adjunct professor for monetary policy and central banking. And then in the summer of 2016, I was re-recruited back to the IMF to serve as an advisor to the chief economist at the time. And again, as was mentioned, the pride of my stint, the second stint at IMF, was the contributions I have to the book, Advancing the Frontiers of Monetary Policy. But enough of that. We are here today to celebrate your graduation. We are here today to celebrate what's around us. What surrounds us is my AUC, your AUC, our AUC. So specifically, I would like first to talk a little bit about what AUC has done for me, how it has shaped my personal development through higher education. Second, I want to share with you my own mantras, certain principles that I really use on a daily basis, and ones that I hope you can benefit from. And finally, I would like to outline a little bit about my role as a Minister of Tourism. So to my first point, what I learned at AUC, both in the classroom and outside, has really helped me in the years ahead. My AUC curricular unlocked my interest in international economics. It acted as a major personal lever for me to seek education overseas. AUC actually built my confidence. It trained me in public participation, interaction with others. It also broadened the network to which I still have access to today, and relationships which I value very much and trust. These life experiences were first nurtured here at AUC, and then they were developed further in the different roles that I have undertaken. At AUC, I've learned to adhere to authority, but still be able to challenge. I've learned how to compete, but still be able to respect. I've learned how to work in a team, but still be able to stand out. I've learned how to debate, but still remain decent. I've also learned how to voice my opinion, but always be peaceful. And these are really principles that are very, very important in any workplace, not just in a university. At AUC, professors were not only our teachers and tutors, but they were our buddies and mentors. I learned from them how to lead and guide others with passion and dedication. So when I came back to AUC to teach, I had role models, professor role models that really taught me in an indirect way how to deal with students, how to inspire people, how to always be creative and help others. To them, I really want to applaud each and every professor at AUC. And just one piece of advice, as you're leaving here today, before you actually resume either your work or continue with higher education, I recommend you sit down a little bit and try and reflect on the time you've spent here, not just inside the classroom, but outside the classroom. You'll find very invaluable lessons that are going to help you in the journey of life going forward. That's exactly what I did when I was graduating. Now comes to the second part, and this is something that I also mentioned in my speech at the University of Maryland last month at the commencement. So if you've seen the YouTube, I apologize for repeating them, but these are my 4 mantras. These are the principles, the beliefs that I have, the behaviors and actions that help push me forward and really help me make a positive difference in shaping and making policy, public policy. For me, playing an active policy role in Egypt and serving my country was an opportunity I relished and something that I've harbored for many, many years. I remember when I was at the IMF in 2005 and my friends and colleagues at the fund knew that I was coming back to Egypt, they got very worried. They were like, Rania, there are so many gender biases back home. Why do you want to leave Washington and go back to Egypt? And that was a fantastic opportunity for me to remind them of the historic role that Egyptian women have played in our society. If you look at Queen Cleopatra, for example, she was not only the ruler of the land, but she was also a medical author, a linguist, a naval commander, and a practiced diplomat. Other queens also include Nefertari and Hatshepsut. So women did hold great responsibility and high office in Egypt. And for all women here, please do not think that gender will be a stumbling block in reaching your ambition. It is absolutely not. Believe in yourself. Keep moving forward, keep investing in yourself and in your competencies. And now come my 4 C's. My 4 C's are the unshakable attributes and enablers that have helped me truly push forward. And these are competence, connections, confidence, and charm. So let me start with the first one, competence. You need to have a passion that you invest both effort and energy. Equip yourself to be distinguishable and create a niche for yourself. Be an expert, be conscientious, be wise, choose wisely, be brave, and have no fear. Doors will open for you. Then move on to connections. Never belittle or underestimate any relationship you will make in the future. It's a very competitive world. It's a very dynamic world. It is just so surprising how often people just keep on popping up along your career. Remember that your reach is potentially global, and the ability to connect with people today is one which is very, very easy in the in the modern world. So keep your connections and always look forward to making new ones. Then comes confidence. And it's not to be misunderstood with arrogance. Confidence inevitably comes from your competence. Share your knowledge and expertise with others, and when it's appropriate, your emotions too. Last but not least comes charm. Warm up to others, whatever their background, their perceived social standing, carry the most appropriate demeanor, radiate positivity, demonstrate your incisiveness, be yourself, be authentic, be authentic. Put a smile on your face because that is going to take you a long way ahead. I hope that some of you would always recall some of these 4 C's because they have been very, very fundamental for me. I know that making a positive difference is something that all of you want to do, and so do remember these. Making a positive difference is within all of us, and as new leaders have to have 3 things in mind always when they are acting. First, you have to be authentic. Second, you have to set an intention for what you want to achieve. And number 3, you have to always be present in each and every moment. So, the third point I want to talk about is now my role as Minister of Tourism. So, as the President was reading out my CV, I'm sure many of you are thinking, a life spent in monetary policy, the IMF, central banking, financial institutions, why would I go into tourism? And all I want to say is that when I was asked by the President to do this job, I accepted immediately. I was very happy to be able to contribute to this very important sector in Egypt's livelihood. It affects so many people. It affects the prosperity of this country. And within the ministry today, I am actually trying to implement these 4 C's. I'm trying to implement the economic knowledge that I've learned both at AUC and in other places so that we can contribute effectively to this country. To your own personal futures and ambitions, I wish you well. AUC helped me enormously in my journey of personal development. As I mentioned, do not forget to spend some time to reflect on the days you've spent here or the years you've spent here. I want to thank you again for inviting me to congratulate you on your achievements and allow me to reminisce with a warm heart the great memories that I had as a student and as a professor. I like to say, and I have this quote, and AUC has actually published it from a book that I have. I have a chapter, it's a very interesting coincidence. There's a book called Daughters of the Nile, and I was asked to write a chapter in that book. And of course, the title of the chapter was Playing an Active Role in Government. I did not know at the time that a year and a half later I was going to become Minister of Tourism. I have a quote in that book which says, serving Egypt by contributing to policies that would make the riches of the Nile flow to all its citizens is not only a mission for me, it's actually a passion. So I want to thank you for allowing me to explain how competence, connections, confidence, and charm have helped transform my life from being seated where you are today to where I am today. You received your degree today, but your journey of education and learning continues. And I just want to close by saying you are never too young to dream and never too old to achieve. Congratulations to all of you.